Now, when there's a tornado warning, it doesn't mean automatically that there is a tornado already ongoing. It means it's possible. There's stages here. So right now, having that blinking red polygon means that a tornado is possible. We can confirm that one is ongoing or has occurred one of two ways. I and Laurel can tell you that there's a tornado because we see debris on the radar, or the Weather Service, us, our TV station, local emergency management gets a phone call or a viewer report from somebody that, yeah, look right there, there's a funnel cloud, and we relay it to you, and that polygon changes to a different color, which goes to confirm. So this is still just possible, but I want you to look right where that red and green are right next to each other. That's the rotation, and over the last 15 minutes, it's been going pretty good, and you can see right where that red and green are next to each other. This was at 8:11. I mean, it's been rotating pretty solidly off and on for about the last 45 minutes. Here's the radar right now. You can see the actual rotation is right on the county line, Green Pond Road. This is where there's some decent rotation, right where these green pixels are right next to the red. It's actually pretty decent rotation, I'm not going to lie. We'll see here in the next few moments, do we get a new tornado warning issued? So I'm going to track this for you and give you a heads up. When we came on here, so we got a new severe thunderstorm warning in its place. There you go. So a new warning. This is in place of a tornado warning, but we got a severe thunderstorm warning here for the tip of Lake County till 8:45 for this same thunderstorm. And this warning has on it including that a tornado is possible. So damaging wind gusts and the possibility of a tornado towards Disney World, southwestern Lake County, and then also south of Claremont. And that goes till 8:45. So there is rotation in there. Let me track that for you here. So I'll put you back to the velocity. Zoom this out a little bit. And I want you to notice where I'm drawing that circle. That's the rotation right by my pin right there. And the actual storm, let me get the correct forward speed here. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tag that a tornado is possible, meaning that tag means that the storm is not exhibiting enough rotation now to be an official tornado warning, but it's exhibiting enough and has that at any moment this severe storm warning, which is in yellow, could get upgraded to a tornado warning, meaning a tornado is more potentially imminent. So we're going to watch for that over the next couple of moments here. We're going to stay with you here because this storm has my attention and our attention. It's moving northeast officially at 30. So let me put track on that. We haven't tracked this yet. Get you some very accurate perception of where this is going. Now I'm going to, give me a second. I'm going to bring this out farther. It's not moving at that speed. I'm going to change this here and get this to 30 miles an hour. And I'm going to extend it out a little bit more. So here is where that rotation and the possibility of a tornado is heading. So places like Windermere, 857. So if you're in the Windermere area, should this rotation tighten back up, there could be a possible damaging wind gust or even a tornado there at about 857. Winter Garden about 858, so that's a little less than half an hour from now. Ocoee about 902, Dr. Phillips High School about 902. You see Lake Apopka 902, then Ocoee High School at 904. So this is about 9 o'clock. This would be about 8:45. Disney World and the theme parks is right here. It's possible that the spin here would miss Disney just to the north, But that's the track of the rotation over the next 1 hour or a half hour or so. Let me do a shorter track for you, get some more populated towns in here. So here's the loop, northeast at 30, something like that. Windermere High School, again, you see about 8:51 p.m. Let me see if I can get some different towns on here for you to track. You see Lake Louisa State Park, 8:33. So we're going to keep an eye on this because obviously if you just extrapolate this out in your head, here's Orlando, Altamont, Ocoee, very heavily populated areas that this rotation is tracking towards eventually, which is why we came on TV here, wanted to give you as much heads up notice that, hey, we're watching this for you, we're keeping an eye on it, and that's why we came on TV, because it had enough of our concern that Laurel and I wanted to bring this to your attention. So there's that rotation. The good news in the last moment is the rotation has come down, but we're not going to be fooled by that because we've seen this in the last 45 minutes where, notice not just a few minutes ago, this rotation was a little bit more pronounced right there. I'll bring this back a little bit further. And you can see this was some pretty good rotation. The red and the green next to each other is the wind circulating. This was back at 8:10. Zoom this back out, and you can see this storm has a pretty decent history. I'll bring this to an hour and zoom this out. This is a 1 hour loop. Let me slow this down even more. So this is the velocity data. Look back when this is in the Tampa area. This actually was a tornado warning that came off the Gulf. The rotation's been pretty consistently there. It's strengthened, it's weakened, it's strengthened, it's weakened, but you see a tornado warning, 2, there was a 3rd one, and then a 4th one, and then now a severe thunderstorm warning. But it's tracking eventually towards Ocoee and even big picture Lake Mary and Altamont should this storm hold together. Now the last scan, we get a scan of the radar about every 3 minutes. It's come down some, so we're going to keep an eye on that. It could pulse back up, but here's the traditional view of the radar, bring it back to the whole region. So we talked about this earlier. There'd be 2 storms left for the night. There's one there and there's one there. Now both of these are drifting to the east. Eventually, those of you in Osceola County will keep an eye on that one. But 2 games in town right now. It's this storm right here pushing to the northeast, and then this storm over here pushing to the due east. Now the atmosphere is getting less favorable for tornadoes, but both of these are tough storms. They're holding together a lot better than it looked like they may. So for more on this right now, I want to bring in my colleague meteorologist Laurel Blanchard. Laurel, we're going to stay with everybody here for a few minutes because the proximity of these storms to a lot of people. What do you see and what's your thoughts on this right now?
Yeah, Noah, absolutely. This storm has been chugging along for quite a while. It started off in Tampa, and what models were saying is that those storms were going to make their way directly east, but for now they've just kind of slivered their way up to the northeast. So what we're seeing right now, and I'm monitoring my screen over here, watching the National Weather Service Office of Melbourne to see if there's absolutely anything more on this storm that I can bring so we can give you the latest updates on that. But keeping an eye on 2 storms right here. It's really the 2 storms that they're almost completely cut off from the system itself. So we have this little cell that's continuing to make its way up between Claremont and Disney, but especially with Disney, if you are there on property right now, just a couple of things. If this does intensify to a tornado warning, which it is possible, we are going to definitely keep you informed with everything that we can. But if you do find yourself in that severe situation, make sure you get inside now. I do know that, of course, the fireworks are happening at the moment, or they're going to be happening very soon. I think it's about 8:30, especially at Magic Kingdom. Well, a lot of folks are probably going to start to see a couple of sprinkles out there, but it might be best to come inside. Doesn't look like there's any lightning out there, but again, just with the orientation of the storm itself, there definitely could still be rotation with it. And let's actually take a look at that real quick. Just looks like there's that little bit of rotation right here, right along that border between Lake County as well as parts of Polk County right there. And again, we're looking at this red and red and green right beside each other, and that is the rotation of the storm that we're looking at. If I switch back to reflectivity to just take a look at the precipitation on this, I wouldn't be surprised if there's even either heavy rain right here where you're seeing the very bright pink right in the center, or the possibility of just some very small hail. Again, this is the storm that has kind of just been going for a while now, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's either very heavy precipitation or even further a little bit of small hail in southern Lake County. I do want to focus in on the Disney property real quick. Of course, I'm pretty familiar with that area, but I know a lot of people are really trying to either get their prime spot for the fireworks or just really starting to get into their spots in order to either get home, back to their hotel. So what we're looking at right now, if we close in just a little bit, the Disney property looks like there's going to be a lot of rain at the moment. But right here, this is Epcot, just in the south of Lake Buena Vista. And up here, this is MGM and Hollywood Studios, as well as Magic Kingdom is over here. So ultimately, what we're keeping an eye on right now is very heavy rain rolling into the region. But also in some of the parks, it is under a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you are in these regions, if you are at the parks right now, Disney Springs is a little bit further south, but if you are in the parks at the moment, again, Hollywood Studios as well as Magic Kingdom, you definitely want to try to get inside. This is a very strong storm. It's been very busy and blustery all day long. So with that, it is definitely best to see if you can get inside as quick as possible. Very windy, and you're probably looking at some very heavy rain at the moment, especially if you are in the parks right now. A little just to the west, again, this is what could be passing by. And if I throw throw on the skits right now just to see this storm. It does look like it's going to pass just off to the northeast. Good news, but also something just to keep in mind. If you do ever find yourself in a severe weather situation, you want to get inside as quick as possible. But again, it does look like this storm possibly passing just to the northeast of Disney right there. And with that, we're going to very much focus in as it makes its way in areas closer to Oak Ridge, just north of Disney. So again, if we do take a little bit of a closer look in, this is going to be affecting some of the parks, dropping very, very heavy downpours onto some of the parks. So this is something that we're going to be watching very carefully. Taking one last check of the reflectivity right here, it does look like it's starting to fall apart, but overall, this is still a very dangerous storm. Lots of winds, lots of rain associated with it, and the possibility of a little bit of hail not out of the question. We've been calling for that throughout most of the day. But again, if you do find yourself in a severe situation, what you want to do is get in a building, just any type of shelter whatsoever. That is the best thing you can do. And especially if you're at an amusement park, try to get inside if you can, into a restaurant, into a ride, just something that you can take shelter in and just get a little bit of shelter from the wind and the rain that are moving in. So what you want to do, especially if you're at home or in a hotel, especially if you're by the Disney area, you want to get in the most interior room of your house, whether that's a bathroom or a closet. So with that, especially if you're in one of the hotel rooms, get inside as quick as possible and try to get to the furthest part back, away from any windows and doors if you are staying on Disney property and watching us tonight. Noah, I think there's a couple more things happening on the radar. You want to talk about that? Let's toss it back to you.
Yeah, Laurel, I've actually got a storm track pulled up as you were doing a great job with that storm safety. So to recap, if you're just joining us, we're going to stay with you for at least 5 more minutes because this is not a tornado warning, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tag. And I want to make sure we take weather seriously here. I take weather very seriously here. We all care very deeply about your safety. And if we feel there's a chance of a tornado warning coming out imminently, we want to be right there for you before as much as we can. This storm has about a 2-hour history of producing tornado warnings. And in fact, it did produce a water spout and already did produce a brief tornado. It's not right now, but it has previously since it came in off the Gulf by Pinellas and Tampa Bay about 2 hours ago. So here's the track of the rotation. The rotation is right at the bottom of this cone you see. So Winter Garden about 9 p.m., 9:04-ish, the Ocoee area, Ocoee High School about 9:06, Pine Hills 9:12, Evans High School 9:14. So Disney World, folks, Universal, if you're at Disney or Universal and you've got Fox 35 on and you're just seeing me now, hope you had a great day at the parks, by the way. It was a warm, humid day for sure. But the worst of this storm will pass just northwest of Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney Springs, Universal. So if you're in a hotel room or you're at a restaurant and you got a severe alert on your phone, there is rotation with this thunderstorm, but it will pass northwest of the theme parks, it being the rotation. There's a downpour at the theme parks, but that's about it. We're going to watch Ocoee, Windermere High School, the western side of Orlando in about an hour from now. And this storm just refuses to go away. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did not see this thunderstorm surviving as long as it has. We've got 2 games in town, one here and one here. This one eventually in about 2 hours could track across Osceola and then eventually Brevard County. This teeny tiny thunderstorm is moving northeast. We're going to keep an eye on it. But, you know, everything across the southeast U.S. is really winding down. You can see there's more storms up in the Carolinas and to our north. We're just dealing with the cold front here. But this storm just refuses to quit, and it's really something that it just refuses to go away. So here's the quick reset. Let's do this one more time, and we're going to track this one more time. And the good news is that the warning has just been canceled, which is great news. But we're going to come right in close to it one more time. And I just want to show you where this is. There is the potential that we come back on here in a few minutes if this rotation tightens up. But the good news is it's faded, it being the spin. We're going to keep an eye on it. We came on here because we felt a little concerned that there could be the potential for a tornado warning near Disney and the theme parks. I wanted to give you as much advance notice as we could. So for right now, the warning with this has been allowed to expire, but there's the potential in the next half hour, we'll be here keeping an eye on it for you, that this warning could be reissued from this storm as it goes towards Ocoee, Orlando, and eventually Altamont Springs. We'll be here keeping an eye on it for you. We'll send you back now to programming, and remember, you can get all your weather forecast information anytime, Fox 35 online and on air. We'll send you back to programming now.
Stay safe.
There's in no